Hey, what's up, y'all? Christopher Pollard here, the photographer and creator of Studio 713. This is the Modeling Secrets podcast, your source to learn from experienced and established models literally all around the world. I'm coming to you today from Tulum, Mexico, finishing up my workcation, but I wanted to get this introduction completed for you because our next special guest, she's from the East Coast, but she's currently residing in Thailand, and she's going to show us how to get signed to multiple agencies internationally, how she's been able to travel the world, build her brand, work with companies all over the course of 15 years in the game. Okay, so please welcome our next special guest, known only as Kellie is the best. All right, Kellie, welcome to the call. I appreciate you being here today. I'm excited to talk to you.
Hey.
I'm glad we actually got a chance to talk a little bit before this interview and really dive deep on your story. But for those who don't know, the audience who's watching right now, just tell us about yourself, who you are, what do you do, and some of your experiences.
So I'm Kellie. I go by Kellie is the best on Instagram. My actual name is Kellie Mendoza, and I've been modeling for I didn't even do the math, but since I was 19 and I'm 35 now. So it's been a while. I got to do I so I've been with 'cause I have two daughters, so I got to do what do you call it, maternity wear modeling. My daughter actually got a contract as soon as she was born. So, and then I got back into modeling, but I'm originally from Maryland, but I moved to Miami. So I've been in Miami for about 7 years, and it's very different. It's more swimwear resort. So I had to learn how to adjust to that instead of like the high fashion because Florida is more about, like I said, like the resort, um, the big hats and the floral print and a lot of swimwear. Miami Swim Week is down there. And then when I was living in Maryland, I was doing more fashion. So I would go back and forth from Maryland to New York. Like I said, I got to experience doing maternity wear as well. I got to work with my daughter a couple of times. So, and then now I'm into like modeling abroad. So traveling and doing that on my own as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, just in that little bit, there's a lot to unpack right there. And I'll just hit the nail on the head. One of the biggest things I hear for as models that are aspiring, looking to come up, is the doubt that there's, in the industry that they can't make it because they're too short or they don't have the right body shape or they're too old. And here you are at 35, and most people are already counting themselves out after 25, and you're still making a way for yourself. So, what are some of the struggles you've had with that? Or is it just more opportunity and more beneficial being who you are, where you're from, and your age, and being a mother?
So I feel like with modeling, it is best to start young. That's when you get all your your trial and error part out the way. So when you start younger. And then with my age now, I'm like an in-between age. I'm like considered a older model, but then I'm not old. So it's like that balance I have to feel. I honestly feel like I have to kind of do something on my own and then come back because there's more models that the more mature models with the silver hair, gorgeous. Like I even saw like there's one model, she modeled for with Rihanna with Savage Fenty. And so I mean, there's models all ages, it doesn't stop at a specific age. I feel like agencies have a cutoff to start, if that makes sense, like a cutoff limit to start. But you can always start at whatever age, but just be prepared for what they have in that market. I've seen models over the age of 50 and just gorgeous, and they're still modeling, they're doing the high fashion, they're doing commercial, and they're getting booked like a lot of work, like probably more than half of the younger models because I feel like when you start at a younger age, your mind wants to jump in it right away. and you want to be sexy, you want to be known, you want all of that right away. And it's also a skill to it, because you have to know who to work with, who to work with, when to work with them, I feel like the industry kind of jumps around. It goes from Miami Fashion Week, then it goes to New York Fashion Week, then it goes to LA Fashion Week, then it goes to Milan and Paris and overseas. And if you have to keep up within that circle, you have to be prepared for that. And a lot of the younger models are not really prepared for that. So they kind of get stuck in just their one city, and then that's one look, and then you're not, worldwide model or something like that. You have to keep up with it. If the agency says go here, you have to be willing and able and ready to go there. Go when they say go. When they say go, you go. And if you're not
Yeah.
ready to go, it's just like, okay, they're gonna move into the next model. Don't care how bad you are, how whatever you have, they're gonna move on to the next model. But I feel like with my age, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I know what I want, and I know how I want to represent myself. So before, I was just like, they're like, Kelly, model here. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do nude? Can you do topless? Can you do this? And I was just jumping for it, like, yeah, 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 sure, 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 sure. I think I shored everybody. I'm like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. But now I'm just like, I'm looking at it a different way, in a different light. I'm like, do I want that for my brand? I feel like when you're more mature, do I want that for my brand? Do I want that for my look? What if I blow up and get famous? Do I want them going back, looking at my past and looking at what I did before? Because I definitely did nude and topless model. That's what I kind of started with when I went to Miami, because I didn't know. I don't want to say I didn't know any better. That's all I one, it was cheaper to do that because you don't have to get the wardrobe or a stylist for it because you're nude. But then two, it's like the danger that comes with it, because it's like, is this a creepy photographer? Is this the right look? What am I giving off when I'm doing this type of modeling? Like, how are they going to take me serious? How am I modeling? Is it raunchy? Is it art, or what do you call it, artistic? Like, how is it, like the abstract artsy look? Oh, she's still topless, but it's not raunchy. So it's like a different type of pose that um, you have to learn about. So all of it, I feel like when you're younger, all of it is a learning experience until you do hit a certain age. I feel like personality right now is not even a thing, because I know they used to say it's about personality, but I've seen some really crappy personalities. But it's because now it's following, it's what do you come with. You got numbers, meaning followers. Agencies are becoming more aware of that, and that can also outshine the model. So you can have a model with a whole lot of followers versus a model with less followers but more experience. They're probably going to go with the one with more followers, only because that's more views for them. You're coming with an audience. I want to get in front of your audience, so that you're coming with an audience. So you're coming with backup.
Let's unpack that a little bit there. You're talking about the follower count versus the skill set. And we all know that having a lot of followers, it gives us more attention. Everybody wants them. And you have quite a bit yourself. How'd you build your following, and how has that impacted your career?
So I started with, okay, when I moved down to Florida, I had an Instagram, but I didn't really care about it because to be honest, I really don't like social media. So I didn't really care about it. But then that was the networking part for me. Um, to find other photographers, it was a way to check them out or check out a designer before I modeled for them. So Instagram can be an amazing tool for both photographers, models, agencies, everybody. It's just how you use it. So for me, growing it, to be honest, I think when I started to do more of the sexy modeling, of course, but when I did that, my audience, of course, was all males. So when I stopped posting super sexy stuff, my engagement kind of went down, because they're like, hey, we didn't come here for this, so they kind of just
Right.
dwindled off. But I do have solid followers that stick to me with whatever I do. So whether I'm doing the sexy modeling or doing high fashion and or my hippie stuff, and they stick with me for that level. So I feel like it depends on what you being yourself and what you offer, because at that time that's what I was offering. I was doing the sexy stuff, so that's what I was consistent with, and then I started getting a lot of followers. And then also working with other, let's say if I worked with another designer or another photographer, another model, another agency, or I was at a certain location, when those people start to post you, that's
Right.
when you get other views and stuff. So that's the building part. And then like I said, Instagram could be a really good tool for you. You just got to learn how to use it and not like, for example, if a photographer asked me to shoot with them, they wanted to shoot with me, I check out their Instagram first. One, I want to see what type of stuff they are posting. Like if I see a photographer posting a bunch of nude stuff and then I go shoot with them with clothing, and then I'm not going to be surprised if they ask me, hey, could you get nude? Because duh, you look at their page and that's what they're posting. It's like a common sense thing. So if I don't want that, you meaning if I don't even want to be associated with that, I'm not going to shoot with that photographer. Even if they tell me, oh, you can shoot the dresses. Yeah, but I know I see your style, and I know that if I'm wearing the dresses and your whole page is nude, you're not going to post me. So then I'm not even going to get seen on your page because that's not what your following likes. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just how it's gonna match.
Has being a mother impacted your modeling career? I know you said you modeled for maternity dresses and you modeled with your kids, but having childs in general or children in general, has that slowed you down or has it give you more opportunities?
I don't think it slowed me down at all. Just like just like any, I guess, profession that you may have, even if it's not modeling or in this industry, you kind of want to talk. Like I would always do a talk with my daughters about what I do, like my modeling, not in detail, like, oh, mommy gets topless, not that. But I'm just saying, like, I would always give them, hey, this is what a casting is. It's for mommy to get a job. I would just give her little, surface explanations like that and let them know how important it is. And I would, if I had to bring them, I would just say, I need you guys to sit still. It's going to take about maybe 15, 20 minutes. Be quiet. Mommy's going to go do the casting. It's basically to get a job. And then, just little explanations I feel like kids deserve. And then they really do change. They're just like, oh, okay. They feel like you're talking to them on a different level. You're giving an explanation instead of, shh, be quiet, don't talk. Because they don't know the reason why they're being quiet, or they just
Yeah.
think it's not that important. So you let them know it's for a job to get money. You want to go to this favorite park you want to go to, mommy has to make money, so let me go do and handle my business. So I don't feel like it slowed me down. I actually had a casting one time and I brought my daughter, and they saw that she was there, and they were actually looking for a child her age. So they asked if they can interview her so she can get um the job with me. So, as long as you have, I don't want to say well-behaved kids, but just, give them an explanation, even bring some type of activity if it's something like that, to you have to bring them, make sure the environment is good for them and they're occupied. And then also you need to focus, because a lot of models will bring their kids somewhere, and more so just with their kid. I'm like, you're still at work. You got to show the client that you could do, if you can do both, then do it.
Is it ever looked at
Um,
as unprofessional, bringing your children to the photo shoot, or is it now that they're just so used to you going to work and this is a regular routine that they're able to just sit quietly and undistracted? Because I can just hear the other moms or even dads right now saying, I could never bring my kid to a photo shoot because of how they would act or how they would just distract from the creative process.
well, I mean, I feel like that would be a whole nother lesson, because that's for you teaching your kids. But as for me, or maybe I'm just saying it speaking from me and my kids, they when I explain to them, and they're the oldest, my oldest is 17, and then my youngest is not, she just turned 10. And when I actually take the time to explain to them, I see a change in their behavior because they understand that this affects them as well. So I feel like if they, I mean, if they're little, then yeah, I would try to find a babysitter. But like I said, mine are 9 and 17. And even when they were younger, I would still, I think the youngest I brought, well, she had a job with me. You just have to talk to them. That's all I would do. It's just see how they would react, talk to them, and literally let them know that this affects them too.
Let's talk about how much you've traveled. So many places. I know you're currently in Thailand, which is still crazy to me. Being a full-time model, living in Thailand, and what is that experience like? I know you've been to Mexico, you've been up and down the East Coast. Where are the places that you've been, and what is your lifestyle like on a day-to-day basis now?
Yeah, Mexico, back and forth to Mexico. I actually had a house in Mexico. Well, I still have a house in Mexico. I just rented out. So I have a house in Mexico, and then been to Jamaica a couple times. Yeah, back and forth the East Coast, West Coast of the United States. And then I was living in Cape Town for a while, Cape Town, South Africa. I've actually, this isn't my first time in Thailand. So this is my second time here, but this is my first time living here. I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah. And out of all of them, my favorite was Africa. Was going to Cape Town. That was really nice. That was an amazing experience. I have an agency there, so I was staying out there to work out there as well.
How did you get an agency in Africa?
So I have a so you want for models, I would recommend them to find a mother agency, and the mother agency gets you the bigger agencies. Instead of going straight to the bigger agency, you go to a mother agency. And the mother agency, they kind of like what a mother does. They kind of prepare you for, the second part of your model life or something. So they prepare you, that they tell you what to do, what to wear, not in that negative way, but like in a way directing you to the right people, the right connections, the right photographers, what kind of pictures you need. And then sometimes they can even book you jobs, so they can get you a job, and then a job meaning modeling gig. So they can get you a modeling job. Maybe not as big as a bigger agency would, but enough to fund your portfolio or enough to fund you to get to where you need to go. So they do help with that. So a mother agency for the bigger agencies.
So you knew that you would be moving to Africa and you had your New York agency give you some recommendations, or did you start looking for agencies in different parts of the world and just move there once you got signed? Like, what's the story?
The agency in New York, they found me, it's Mood Models. So they found me on Instagram. And then I signed with them, and then they got me a small job, and then they told me that a agency in Africa was interested in me. So then I started preparing for Africa. So I started preparing for Africa. I actually signed before I was in Africa. So you can sign to an agency in another country without even living or being there, and that's anywhere. You can sign to an agency without physically living or being there. It's just now it's you know, you're on your half. Now you have to make it to the actual agency. You want to meet them. You want to take your digitals there. They want to see you in person, how you walk, how you look, because you're representing them when you go to the client. So yeah, and I have another one in Bali. Now that one, so sometimes it could just be word of mouth. So they're gonna be on Instagram, and I'm like, I'll find a model where I really like the work she's getting. And then I'll check out the agency that she signed with. And then you can message the agency and send them the pictures of your portfolio that you need. Or what you do, if you have a mother agency and you find an agency that you like that's overseas or wherever, you contact your mother agency and say, hey, I kind of like this agency. You think you can send my portfolio over to them? And then they'll do that with them. So, and then they'll handle everything that you need to know from them, whether they like you, they want to sign you or not. So that's the proper way to do it. You can directly go to them, but you want that good representation. So you should go back to your mother agency. They know how to introduce you and you know um, send in your profile or whatever your information.
On top of your agencies and traveling through them and getting those jobs, you've also done a lot of freelance work.
Okay, so freelancing I would do in between because even as a highly booked model or with a sign agency, even if it's a big agency, you're going to get those in between slow times and you want to still keep your money rolling. So, in the in between slow times, there's slow seasons. In Miami, they're not really big that much, which is funny in the summertime because they just do their swim week and then everything dies down until like October, it picks back up. So, within that slow time of whatever city you're from, in the slow time, I do freelancing. So freelancing, I would make like a little template of what I would say to brands. Any brand, any brand that you find that you just want to model for, you remember there's a person behind them. You talk to them and introduce yourself and probably send like a small template and just say, hey, I really like your brand. I would literally talk like a person. Like I
Right.
wouldn't sound like a whole agency. I wouldn't sound like I had a big team behind me. I would just say, hi, my name's Kelly. I'm a model from Miami, Florida. I'm going to Mexico this year with my photographer. Let's say if you have a photographer either going with you or already you're going to meet one there, and you just kind of want to introduce yourselves and then say, I would love to work with you. And then just give them a whole vision. Like I gave this one brand that I wanted to model for, I gave them a vision. Like I actually gave them a vision board and I went to all the places that I said I was going to go to. I said I was going to go to Chichen Itza Chichen Itza, which is this pyramid in Mexico. And I said I'm going to shoot here, and I'm going to shoot with this photographer. Um, and let them know my rates first, and then the worst they could say is no, thank you, or not respond at all. Like it's not going to kill you. So then you kind of just send that same template out to all these different brands and you let them know that where you're going and the thing is to build a relationship. So you want to make sure you do what you say you're going to do. Like if you say you're going to go to Mexico, like just make sure it's already set in stone and set up. And then you just kind of paint the picture for them because you're taking their brand. Let's say the brand is from, I don't know, Maryland. Let's say the brand is from Maryland, and then the brand is only seen in Maryland. So you going to Mexico, that's a big deal for that brand. So they're going to want to pay for you. And then you're getting them professional pictures and possibly a video and possibly constantly promoting. That's actually a win-win for them. So, that's when you want to hit them with your brands. And the way how I price with brands, like I said, I do my research before I even message them. I look at see how much their product is going for. So if I see it's on the expensive side, I know that they can pay me. I know that they can pay me because at least one of, let's say it's a shirt, it's a $400 shirt. Okay, I can ask for that price range or something like that. Now, if it's on the smaller side, then I want to make sure I like the product because I don't want to wear something that I'm getting a low payment for and then I like the product. Some people get kind of scared to just get paid in like clothing sometimes. But if you were going to purchase that clothing anyway, like sometimes I'll ask something and it's already in my cart. And then I'm like, hold up, let me see if I can either get paid for it or they give it to me because I'm about to pay for this. So either way, that's saving income or gaining income. Either way, you have income in your
Got it.
pocket from that. So yeah,
The steps are to find clothing brands and products that you already like. If you're going to purchase them already, add them to your cart and then decide before you purchase to reach out to that brand and say, hey,
yeah.
I'm traveling here or I'm a model in this location. And then you have a script that you go through to get them to be more convinced to send you the product or just offer an initial payment.
So like just set up a whole vision for them to before you even message them. That way you're prepared to already have your rates and already have your location, and basically you're approaching them and then you already kind of know what you want from them, and then just see if they bite whatever you're putting out there.
What are some of your big picture goals? What really keeps you motivated in going with pursuing modeling?
I really love seeing people's expressions, especially for designers and brands, when their whole look comes together on the model. Like I really love that end piece, because if you think about it, like a designer, like the ones that actually hand make their clothes, okay, so they're making it probably takes anywhere from weeks to months to make, and then they're proud of their garment or whatever they have, whatever the product is, and then when they see it all come together with the model, the photographer, the makeup, they literally light up. And I love seeing that, because they're like, oh my god, this looks so good on you, this is so pretty. It's just that moment of making the other person excited to see it come together. It's like their final piece. So I kind of put myself in their shoes first, and that makes me excited.
What are some of your biggest struggles with modeling? Have you experienced like a failure in modeling to where you're like, this is it, I'm done, I'm gonna hang my hat up in modeling, or has it always been kind of smooth sailing for you?
Okay, so what I do when I get like that in my real life, so I have my real life and then I have my model life. If anything happens in my real life that would affect my career and my model life, I try to separate those two. So I will literally not even talk about my modeling. I won't even get on my Instagram or anything. I would just block that out so I won't taint whatever is going on in my real life, my personal life, and I won't taint my modeling life, because my modeling life, that makes me happy. So there's been nothing that's been like produced from my career where it makes me want to stop my own career. Like I have never experienced that. It just usually from my personal life. If my personal life starts to spill over into my regular life, then that's when it's a problem. But struggle wise, I mean, if it's something I never consider something blocking me. I just find another way. I do a lot of okay with people, because you have to do that, because someone may tell you that's not going to work. That's impossible. Kellie, you can't model. You're this and that age. Kellie, you can't do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. But in my head, I'm like, I can't wait to get away from this person, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I do that a lot. So like I said, if it's personal, I just try not to let it taint my modeling life. And then if it's something in my modeling career, my model life, and something directed to me, I also put a shield up right there, because no one can tell me what I can and cannot do, because they don't know what I can and cannot do. They don't know what I'm capable of. I like this quote from Pablo Coelho when he said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both right. So if I say I can do something, believe me, it's going to get done. I've even shocked like people that I've wanted to work with before, and then they told me I couldn't do something, and I did that. Okay, and then I actually went above and beyond them, and then they'll actually, oh Kellie, I saw you in such and such. That was so cool. When'd you do that? Oh, we're having something here. You can come here. No, that's when you put that wall back up. But it's just like, you didn't believe in me then, and you're believing in me because someone else believed in me, and that's when I'm not going to believe in you anymore. I'm going to go above you. So I don't believe in that with modeling life. I really do apply a lot of universe, and I apply a lot of what do you call it, law of attraction with my I probably should do it with my personal life too, but I do it a lot more with my modeling because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
People telling me what I can and cannot do, and then it happens, and then it's just like, yeah, at this point, I'm not gonna listen to anybody tell me what I can and cannot do.
So one more question before I ask you my last. I know you've dealt with being feeling depressed as well. And when
Hmm.
I talk to you, every time I talk to you, you just seem so full of energy. Like you're always smiling. You talk about the law of attraction, the way the universe works for you. But that hasn't always been the case. So how do you handle the low times and how do you overcome them?
Back to the personal life and model life. So when it comes to my personal life, and when it does, you will, especially being alone somewhere, or just life in general. That's why I feel comfortable speaking about it, because I do feel like this is a subject that a lot of people, especially women and men, we don't really talk about. But because you don't want to feel like a burden to somebody, you don't want to feel like the Debbie Downer to someone. So I do always try to pick myself up. And you know how like they say fake it until you make it? I do feel some way about that because faking, not faking, but perking yourself up can really get you out of that. I forgot the tonin, whatever. It's
Serotonin?
serotonin. No. Yeah, it does pump it up. And then it does get you out of that mood. Like, even with actors, like you can have a fake laugh turn into a real laugh. Like, you know what I mean? Like it gradually does pull you out of that, and it could go to a actual real laugh because you're laughing, and then your brain does this thing where it's like, why am I laughing? This is so silly. This is looking so silly. And then you're actually laughing at yourself. So it does pull you out of it. And then, like I said, when I'm low, I separate my model life from my personal life. So whatever's going on in my personal life, and I'm still working on this, but whatever's going on in my personal life, I block it from my model life. So I'll even go as far as to delete my Instagram app so you won't get that urge to start posting about what's really going on in your day. So I'll turn that off so I won't like spill my personal life over and like, God, these people are pissing me off, and I go post it knowing I use that for my, how do you say, like a resume or something. So I use
Right.
it for like that. So I'll just shut it off. And then I notice with my mood, it does go up and down. So when it's down, I try to just, you know, either one meditation that's been helping, meditation, and completely get my phone away from me. Like get my phone, no electronics, be in the present moment. My daughter helps me a lot, animals help me a lot, nature helps me a lot. Sometimes just if it's a really sad day, go the hell outside, like go walk, because it
Yeah.
can really distract you for that moment and pick you back up to where you need to be. And like I said, I noticed that these moments I go through, they're like they're low, but I know it's going to get back up. And I was just watching something and learning something about how sadness and depression is actually not here. It's actually in your gut. It's actually stored in your gut. So what they were saying was you want to fast, you want to clean out your gut and keep your gut clean. Because you know how when they say I have a feeling in my gut,
Right.
like that's where it really does start right there. If you think of something that makes you sad or depressed, you actually feel it here in your gut first before you think of it here, because this is more the computer part, the processing part, and this is where it starts. And I never understood that until I watched it like a couple of times, and like, I think they're right. I see they're onto something, because yes, they're they're saying that certain feelings are stored in different organs, so it is stored in your gut. So you want to do certain breathing exercise to get out of it. I even sat in the rain a couple of times. Now, that was fun. So even sat in the rain a couple of times. So sometimes just do something that you probably normally wouldn't do, that's good for you, that you normally wouldn't do, but before your brain starts to think. Because if I would have did that and procrastinated, let's say if it's raining and I'm depressed and I'm like, oh, I should just go out in the rain. And if I start thinking too much, then I'll be like, no, because now I gotta wash my clothes. Now I have to do that. No, maybe the rain is cold. And I'll start thinking or overthinking instead of just getting the hell up and go outside and sit in the rain and then, get cleansed and washed like that. And it just feels so good and uplifting. If you know your why of why you're doing it, whatever your career is, then you don't want it tainted. You don't want it affected by anything that's going on in your personal life. So you just kind of just put it on the back burner. Put it on the back burner, leave it over there. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Just let it sit over there. And then you get back to it when you're in that good space. I don't
Definitely.
know if that
Thank you
answers.
for no, that
Yeah.
was great. Thank you for that answer. That was perfect. I'm sure that's helped a lot of people who are listening in right now. Tell us, where can our followers find you? What are your social media pages and how can they get in contact with you?
Instagram would probably be the easiest. So my Instagram is Kellie is the best. That's all one word, and Kellie is spelled Kellie, and then is the best. No spaces. And I have a YouTube. So it's the same thing. It's Kellie is the best. I post more on there, like just what I do in Thailand, like places I go in Thailand. I have my daughter with me on there. And then my Instagram is more modeling and more showing off the brands and stuff that I work with and that look for me. And then my YouTube is more my mommy side, my mom's side in Thailand. So
Got it.
yeah, but to you can just DM me.
Perfect. Thank you again so much for being here. And my
Thank you.
last and final question, if you had to bring it all down to just one thing, what would you say the secret to creating a successful modeling career is?
Consistency. And that's with anything. Stay to it. If you said that you want to model and then you model one time and then you just give it up after that and you go back to your bartending or whatever job you have and you never go back to modeling, then that's not going to be successful for you at all. So you can do both. You can be bartender and you can be model, but always keep whatever you want to do. Like I said, with modeling, you want to keep consistency with that. If an agency tells you, hey, we need you to take these digitals, take the digitals. Like give yourself within 3 days to get that done, get it done. If you procrastinate and put it off a lot, then they're going to go on to the next person. And a lot of models, sometimes we look at other models and like we put them on this high pedestal. Oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. Look how she's doing this, she's doing that. You could be doing that too. Even for me, when models look up at me, I'm like, you could literally be doing this. Like, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary, nothing different. It's just you gotta be connected with the right people, right time, right. Make sure you have just you can always find a way. Like I said, there's a will, there's a way. You can find a way to get these things done, but everything's possible. So yeah,
Absolutely.
just be consistent.
Yes, perfect answer. Great way to end this interview. It's been such a pleasure talking with you and getting insight from your perspective and all the things that you've done with your life. I look forward to actually traveling to Thailand myself and getting a chance to work with you
Yes,
directly.
get out here. I'll show you all the spots. So yeah, I'm noting to self where to go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy the rest of my night, and
Oh
we'll
yes.
talk soon.
Okay, you too, and thank you.